All right, wife. Why don't you listen to one of your own, okay? This is Bruce Lee, okay? Bruce Lee. Okay? Documentary on the best. Why was he the best?
In Hong Kong, but he wasn't quite ready to follow up on that.
Bruce Lee had a bit part or a supporting role in the Longstreet series, and this had an enormous effect on the audience. What was it?
I think the successful ingredient in it was because I was being Bruce Lee.
Yourself.
Myself,
Being yourself.
right?
Being
And
myself.
just express myself, like I say, honestly express myself at that time.
He was very proud of Longstreet, and it was very much from him and his art and his thoughts.
Can you remember the lines by Sterling Sullivan to the key lines?
He's one of my students, you know that?
Was he too?
Yes.
Everybody is your student. But you read, there were some lines that express your philosophy. I don't know if you remember them or not.
Oh, I remember that. I
Let's
said,
hear.
this is what it is, okay? If you try to remember, you will lose. I said, empty your mind. Be formless.
Formless, like they're water.
Like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup.
Comes a cup.
You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a
Comes the
teapot,
bottle.
it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or creep or drip or crash. Be water, my friend.
Be like the nature of
I
water.
see. I get the
Understand?
idea. I get the.
So I don't have Bruce Lee's
American.
accent, obviously. Be like the nature of water. It can flow.
I don't even
to
look at him as being
anything.
Asian. He's like Bruce Lee. He's like
Like
my
the
idol, you
flow
know.
of water.
And that's something I guess I don't think of so
That goes
much,
out
but I
right
guess
there.
yeah.
A Chinese nationalist watching the Bruce Lee films will see Chinese nationalism. A white Westerner may not even notice the ethnicity.
Maybe Dean Cain, right? Is he part Asian?
Certain times there were prejudice against my skin, but I never let it bother me because in the back of my
I
mind,
never let
used to
people
think,
bother me.
I'll take you out in the parking lot. I'll beat your head in.
Bruce Lee became a complete star.
Oh, whoop
making
your ass.
films
You know what I'm saying?
In his own country. 40 years later, things haven't changed. So if you want to see another star like that, it has to happen in films made outside of the system.
Like this one, outside the system.
My first memory of Bruce Lee is in the movie Chinese Connection. The last scene in the movie, there's a firing squad. When he came out and ran up and jumped and they froze it. I was like, Mom, what happened? And she said, oh, he wanted to go that way. And that just stuck with me.
If you look at Chinese Connection, it's a movie about cultural nationalism as expressed through action sequences, but that's no different than Swan Lake. There's no difference between a ballet
Like what I did
and
in the
a kung
pool
fu
for you.
expressing the ideas and the emotion through movement. When the Japanese bring the Sick Man of Asia framed picture, this
You
is
see this,
speaking
wife?
to a
Sick
long
Man of
period
Asia?
Chinese
How fucking
suppression
dare you call me
and
this shit?
subordination. That was within living memory of those 1970s Hong Kong Bruce Lee films.
In your own fucking language, wife.
If you play the film with the dubbed English, and then in the original
Chinese Wang
Cantonese,
family,
you see that
listen
they're
to fucking
essentially
Bruce Lee.
different films. So, for example, one of the characters goes up to Mr. Wu, the translator, and in the English version, the dubbed version, he says,
Look here. Now, what's the point of this?
the translator goes,
Just that the Chinese are a race of weaklings, no
Wings.
comparison to us Japanese.
in the Cantonese version, he says,
我問你，你係咪中國人？哦，雖然種呢，就同埋一樣。
So, in the English version, he's not Chinese, but in the subtitled version, in the Cantonese version, he says, yes, I'm Chinese, but I've chosen to go with the Japanese, the powerful. So, there's a world of difference. We're actually consuming different films depending on the nature of the decisions that they make in translating. Westerners have thought that they're slapstick, but the Chinese audience
See, I
are
do that
watching
shit
a
all the
highly
time, Eddie
politically
Murphy.
charged film with quite recent history and animosities and resentment coursing through them.
Except I don't fight like
Now,
Bruce
you
Lee,
listen
okay?
to
I
me.
don't go around fighting everybody.
I'll only say once. We are not sick men.
What he gave was so real and so raw.
Understand,
because
wife?
he lived it
Don't
every day
fucking
of his
call me
life.
Sick Man of Asia. How
Bruce did
fucking
not
dare you?
get along well with the director of the first two films, Lo Wei.
Lo Wei thought that he can put his thumb on Bruce as one of his simple actors.
He was old school,